Boom. Come on, guys. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Who's out there? My man Timothy Williams, Beaverton PD, just marched by on the running trail. One off duty with a death march and a message. You came right in here talking. I don't know what that means. Making me nervous. I'm not even in Beaverton. How is it? Yo, what's up, Jolly Rancher? Julia Jane. Oh, do I got a story to tell? I got a couple stories to tell. I had to keep quiet. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Please, everybody hit that like button. Let's beat the YouTube algorithm. 6 likes, 44 people. It takes a second. Literally, it's right there. You have your phone in your hand. It'll only take a second. Hit that like 12. Oh, yeah. My man, Captain Redbeard's in the building. My man, Captain Redbeard. I had court today, so I could not talk about this, right? And I wanted to talk about it a million times, but it would have upset my case, right? I didn't want to leak any of my defense strategy out because I have it all on tape, right? So I don't know if you guys remember, but I went to Bellwood Police Station. That's the one in the actual the thumbnail is of the Master Sergeant chilling. It says we have a job. It's to go home at night. Our job is to go home safe. That one where they surrounded me when I did the Demand Your Flag audit in Bellwood. Well, no more than 36 hours later, I was driving back to that station actually, and I'm driving down Washington, which is a major street, and there's an officer making a left-hand turn onto Bellwood Avenue. I'm going straight. He's making a left. When I'm passing him going straight, he can only make a left in the arrow. I look over at him, and I got my sunglasses on, and I had this red pullover, which is the same exact and the same hat I had on from that day, because I was live that day. So I'm sure a couple of people called the Bellwood Police Station. Then they looked at their security camera. I parked right in the police station parking lot, so it's not every day that a YouTuber comes into the Bellwood Police Station, people start calling. So I'm sure they knew, they had an idea who I was, what I looked like. I mean, because I had the same exact red pullover, sunglasses, and hat that I had on that day. So while I pass him, going about 35, he's in the left-hand turn lane. I pass him. I look over. Well, we're parallel with each other, and he holds his stare with me. I hold my stare with him. And then he hits a U-turn. So he cuts off all the traffic that's coming, and he hits a U-turn, and I go to pull over real quick, and he flashes the lights. He puts the lights on, and he pulls me over. So I was in the little parking lot. He gets out, and he comes up to my car. He goes, you didn't have it. Now, he said this is what he said. He said, you didn't have your seatbelt on when you turned onto Washington. Now, I turned on, you never saw me turn on to Washington. I was whether that was a mistake on his part, and he didn't realize that he's the one who turned around, or he just really didn't know what he was talking about. I don't know. But I was driving straight. I had been on Washington for a long time. So he definitely never saw me. I drove past him. So he said that, which I was going to use. And then he called for backup because I had 2 phones on me, and my good phone I dropped underneath my seat, which always happens at a seatbelt stop, because if you remember the original seatbelt stop, I had to get off halfway through while, Pedicano and Gregory were writing the ticket and get another phone that fell underneath the seat. So my good phone fell underneath the seat. I couldn't get it. Well, he's writing the ticket. I go to the phone. I get out the car. I know he's going to yell at me to get back in the car, but by that time I'm going to have the phone, so it doesn't matter. So I get out the car. I get the phone. He yells at me to get back in the car. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting my phone. Don't worry. So I get my phone. I get back in. He must have called backup because of that. So 2 more officers come to the seatbelt stop, or they might have just came. I don't know. Maybe they came because of that. Who knows? So the second one comes up to him, and I ask the second one his name, because he's not that far behind me. I'm like, what's your name, officer? I need your name and your badge number. You're obviously, I need it whenever I ask you, but you actually have me in custody right now, right? I'm in a custodial detainment. You're actually using your police powers on me. So I definitely need your name and your badge number. He stays quiet as a church mouse. He does not say a word. And then the third officer comes and parks. And I'm talking to the camera. I'm like, oh my God, it's a threesome. They need 3 of them.
So he comes up, right when he comes up and says it to the other officer, I can't hear what the second officer that stayed quiet wouldn't give me his name. I can't hear what he said initially. All I could hear is what the guy replied to it with. And he says, "Oh, it is?" And they both looked up at me. Now, 99% he said, "That's disorderly product news," or "That's the guy that was in the Bellwood police station." I guarantee they recognize me. So the guy writes, oh, and then before that, when the guy was giving me pulled me over, he's like, "Is this the right address on your ID?" I'm like, "That's my ID." He's like, "I know, is this the right address?" I said, "That's my ID." He goes, "I know, is this the right address?" I said, "Listen, man, you have my ID. I don't have to give you anything else. I've given you everything I'm required to by law. Whatever you have to do, do it." He goes, "I might have to send you a letter or something. That's what I'm asking." "You don't have to send me a letter. We're not pen pals. What do you mean you have to send me a letter? Write me a ticket. We're not corresponding through the mail. Shut up." So anyways, go back to the part. He's writing the ticket, and the guy's standing there, and the other guy comes up and he goes, "Oh, it is?" And they both look at me. So I know for 100% fact, right? I mean, I don't know, at 99.9, he either said that's disorderly product news, or that's the guy that was in the Bellwood police station the other day that made all the phone calls happen, whatever. So they come back to the car. Now that third guy left. He just heard that disorderly product news pulled over, and then he left. So now it's the guy that won't give me his name and the original guy that pulled me over. So he comes to the original guy that pulled me over, comes to the driver's side. The other guy goes around to the passenger side, and my passenger door is unlocked. So while he's coming over, I reach over. I could have just locked it with my hands, but that's not as dramatic. So I reach over and just slam the lockdown, right? Because I wanted to know I was locking the door for him. Like, I'm putting you completely out the ball game. You could just stand over there and watch. You're not involved right now. So this guy Harvey, the officer, comes up to me and he's like, "Okay, just sign this, and then you could either pay it by." It's a $164 seatbelt ticket. Who pays $164 for a seatbelt ticket? So he's like, just you have to sign this. You can pay it online, and then you don't have to go to court. I don't have to. No, I don't have to go to court. Oh, no. I'm going to court. No, I know you don't know who. Yes, I'm going to. Don't tell me I don't have to go to court. I have to go to court. If I have to go to court for the next 90 days, every day straight, I'm going to court. So he's like, "Okay, sign this." I'm like, "Okay, but I need that gentleman's name and badge number." He goes, "Are you refusing to sign it?" I'm like, "No, I'm not refusing to sign it, but I don't want the traffic stop to end without me getting all the information. I need his name and his badge number." He's like, "You're just not going to sign this then, are you?" I'm like, "Dude, what part didn't you understand? I'll sign it. I need the guy's information. I don't know who he is. I need, for whatever reason, he's using his police powers against me. He's got me pulled over. I need a FOIA request, his body camera footage. I need to know who he is." And he just says, "Okay, I'm going to take a refuse to sign. I'm keeping your ID." So he goes back and he has to write. Now he has to scratch stuff out on the thing. And he comes back and he just gives me the ticket, but he's keeping my ID, my license. And I go, "Is the stop over?" And he smiles and says, "Yeah." He thinks I'm asking because, like, I'm asking, like, "That's it? You're really going to take my ID? Like, you're really, really going to do it?" Like, he thinks that's why I'm asking. So he smiles and says, "Yeah." I go, "Good." And I open up the car door and I get out with my camera and I chase that. I go by the other cop because the traffic stop's over. I'm no longer in custody. I can do whatever I want. So now I run up to him with the camera. I'm like, "What's your name?" And he's just stuck there. Now he has to tell me. I forget what it was, Blake or something. He's a field training officer. So anyways, that was court for that case was today. So I went in there and now listen to this. The story's not, that's why I was at court today. Hit the like button, 231 people, 80 likes. That's only half the story. That's only half the excitement. So I'm all the way, I'm at the Maywood courthouse. So that's there's five suburban courthouses in Cook County. I'm in the Maywood courthouse, which is like the west side, right out of Chicago. And I'm in a part of the courthouse, like I'm all the way in the back, but I'm right by, I'm outside the courtroom, and there's about 50 people just waiting to go to the 1:30 call because they're still waiting for the original call, whatever call that was, 9 o'clock, I don't know, they're still on, whatever. So I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden these two, it looks like they were 12 years old. I don't know how old they were. It looked like they were 12,
two young African-American girls run by holding hands, going, come on. And then they hit the doors and they went out. Now those doors you can't use. Like those doors are completely off. That's for like the judges parking lot and the employees park. I don't even think employees get to buy. Like judges and politicians, like absolutely not. So what must have happened is one of them must have got the feeling that the judge was about to put him in custody, and she went rabbit on him, and she took her best friend with her, and they were running holding hands. And so they went out the door, and then about literally you count to 10, like 1, 2, like nothing's happening, like they just ran by and went right out those doors and nothing's happening. And then you get to 10 and all of a sudden there's just a swarm of Cook County sheriffs rounding that corner, like just middle-aged men, and like 15 or 20 of them. And I tried to tell them they went the other way, but there's no other way you could go. So I'm like, you guys are going the wrong way. They went the other way. And it's literally no other way. They came from the other way. So so I took my phone out. I started recording. And I'm already there for a seatbelt ticket. So I'm really not trying to, get in, put the First Amendment, audit down right now, right? I got to get, I'm preparing for my big seatbelt ticket case that I'm going to destroy them in. And, because I FOIA requested all the body camera footage. They have 20 days to respond to me. It's day 16. So I'm really going to only go in there and ask for a continuance because I need the body camera footage, right? To prepare my defense. Anyways, so the two little girls run out of there. They have to be 18. They look like they were 12. They were 18. The funny part was they were running and trying to escape, but they were holding hands. Like they didn't think of not holding hands. Like they had to do it together. And obviously they both didn't get a warrant put on them. So one of them probably wasn't even in trouble. Or I don't even know what happened, obviously. There's two of them running out. Sheriffs are following them. And I start recording. And a lady comes out. One of the bailiffs comes out. She's like, you can't record. This is what she said. She goes, you can't record looking that way. You can only record looking this way because this is a controlled area, right? I can't look at that way because, not that I was in the off-limit zone. Like, I didn't go through the doors. I was just looking at it with my camera, and she said, no, you can't, because since that's not open to the public, and they're just glass doors, and all you see outside, she's like, since they're not open to the public, you can't look at them. You have to point your camera the other way. And obviously, it took me 2 seconds to dispel that theory with her. So she went out there, and she's like, oh, he's recording. Like that was now became the biggest problem. Forget the little two girls that ran out holding hands like Thelma and Louise. Now me recording is the biggest problem. So he's the superintendent, I guess. That's what they call him. His name's the superintendent. When I was in his office, right outside his office with his secretary, it said deputy director. They just make up different names for no reason. So now he's the superintendent. So he's the head guy at Maywood. And you see him come in and he kind of puts his hand on my phone, all right? He puts his hand in front of the phone, whatever. So they caught the two girls, they bring them back in, and then they're yelling at me for recording. Then one of his, it's all because he's the top guy. So I turn the phone gets turned off in the process, and then I tell him, like, listen, I'm in a public space. I can record anywhere I want from a public access point. Anything I could see, I can record. And he went along with, like, it didn't take me long to, convince him either. But his little, like, sergeant, who was, his head was shaved all the way up with just like this long hair that he had slicked back. And he looked like he was a 12-year-old skateboarder, but like a grown man, but with a 12-year-old skateboarder haircut. And there's 50 people outside this courtroom. Like, everybody that's going to this court call is outside this courtroom. They haven't let him in. And he starts swearing. How did he say it to me? So the sergeant, so I'm going to the sergeant, and then I'm talking to the superintendent, and he comes in and he just yells, what? Like, right in my face. And I'm like in the middle of a civil conversation with the superintendent. I'm like, he goes, what? And I go, I'm not talking to you, but turn in line. I'll teach you something too. And but just make it single file. I said something like that. And he said, fuck. He said, fuck. He said, well, how did he phrase it? Something like mother effer, or you mother effer. And I said, that's what your barber said when you asked him for that haircut. And everybody started laughing. And Anyways, that was Sergeant Griffin. Sergeant Griffin of the Cook County Sheriff's Department at the Maywood courthouse, who's got the haircut of Justin Bieber. He bring in a Teen Bop magazine and said, "Let me look like that." So I don't know how that guy's a sergeant. Literally looks like a little kid and acts like one too. Yeah, he's swearing, and there really are kids out there with their parents going to court. So I end up going to court. I end up waiting, and the guy's there, right? The guy that gave me the ticket's there. So the first judge that's up there, like, this guy's the coolest guy in the world. Like, he loves the citizens, and you would think he's not. He just everything. He's pro people, right? He's anti-government, dude. He did not like the police. You would think he had something against them. Like, you would have thought he was just a member in the crowd. He was the coolest guy in the world. He's just throwing tickets out, and like, he's asking people, what do you think I should do with you? And whatever they answer, he's saying that's a good idea and doing it. Like, he's the best. And then another judge comes in, but I'm thinking she's just coming just to watch. That's his friend. And I'm in there for a good half an hour, but they already read my name off, so I know I'm up anytime now. All of a sudden, he stands up, and then she stands up, and then he walks off the bench, and she walks into the bench. And however I just described how cool he was, she's the opposite of that. She is the complete opposite of that. She was mean. She was angry. She was mean. My mouth dropped. I looked at the guy behind me. I'm like, dude, could we get any worse luck? So I ended up going up there. She called me, and she was yelling at people because they weren't saying here fast enough, or they weren't walking up to the bench fast enough. She was definitely not in a playing mood. So she called me. I went up. I said, "Here, I'm here. Don't worry, I'm here, coming." And she said, "You got a seatbelt ticket?" I said, "Yes, Your Honor."